Hello, everyone. Welcome to English Today Journey. I am so happy to see you here. My name is Jenny, and today we're going to do something very special. This video is not just about listening practice. It is also about learning English in the right way and making real progress quickly. I know that many of you want to improve your English fast. You want to understand real English when people speak. But sometimes it can feel really hard. Sometimes you listen to someone speak, and you only catch a few words. Sometimes people speak very fast, and it feels like there is a big wall in front of you. Don't worry. You are not alone. Every English learner has felt this way at some point. Today, we're going to walk together step by step. I want you to imagine something. Imagine you're sitting with a friend. You are just talking and listening, having a relaxed conversation. That is exactly what we're going to do in this lesson. We will practice listening by hearing simple, clear, and natural English. You don't need to take notes. You don't need to write anything down. All you need to do is sit comfortably, relax, and let the English flow into your ears. Listening to English is a lot like listening to music. When you hear music for the first time, you might not understand every note. At first, it may sound confusing. But if you listen regularly, slowly you begin to notice patterns. You begin to feel the rhythm. You start recognizing familiar sounds and words. The same happens with English. At first, it may feel strange and difficult. But if you listen often, your brain begins to understand the rhythm of the language, and gradually it starts to make sense. Let me share a small story with you. When I was younger, I wanted to learn a new language too. I remember listening to the radio, hoping to understand, but most of the time I could only catch a word or two, maybe hello or thank you. It was not much, but I didn't give up. I kept listening every day, even if I didn't understand everything. I listened during breakfast, while walking, or before going to bed. At first, it felt slow and frustrating. But after a few weeks, something amazing happened. I started to understand more words. After a few months, I could understand many sentences. My brain was learning the sounds slowly. It was becoming comfortable with the rhythm of the language. That is the secret of learning English. You don't have to understand everything at once. You just need to listen regularly, and over time, your brain will naturally pick up the patterns. Listening is not about forcing yourself to understand everything. It is about enjoying the sounds, the rhythm, and the words. It is about letting your brain slowly get used to English, just like learning a song or a melody. Each time you listen, your brain stores a little more information, a little more understanding. And before you know it, English will start to feel natural. You will begin to recognize words, sentences, and expressions without even thinking. It may seem impossible at first, but with patience and practice, it will happen. You are not alone on this journey. Every learner goes through the same steps. The important thing is to keep listening, to keep practicing, and to enjoy the process. So today, let's start listening together. Sit back, relax, and let the English reach your ears. Don't worry if you don't understand everything at first. Remember, this is a journey. Step by step, day by day, your English will improve. Your brain is learning even when you feel you are not understanding much. And soon, you will notice the difference. Your listening will be clearer, your understanding will grow, and speaking will become easier. Listening is the first step to speaking naturally. This is how every successful English learner begins, and this is how you will begin too. Learning English takes time and patience. You need repeated listening. It does not happen in just one day. But here's the good news. If you practice regularly, your listening will improve faster than you think. Today, we're going to do this together. I will speak in clear, natural English for you. I will use simple words, not very difficult ones. I will keep the speed natural, not too slow, not too fast. As you listen, something amazing will happen. Your ears will start to get used to the sounds of English. You may not understand every single word, and that is perfectly okay. Do not feel upset or frustrated. Just let the words flow over you like waves in the sea. The more you listen, the more your brain will learn. Each time you hear English, your understanding grows. even if it feels small at first. Listening is like planting seeds. You may not see the flowers right away, but with time, they will bloom. Now, you may wonder, how do we learn English the right way? Many students make a mistake. They think learning English is only about studying grammar rules every day. They try to remember every little detail, every rule, every exception. But the truth is, grammar alone will not make you a confident English speaker. You can know all the grammar rules in the world, but if you cannot understand what people say, you will feel stuck. The real way to learn English is to find balance. You need grammar, yes, but you also need listening, speaking, and vocabulary. Listening is one of the most powerful parts of learning English. When you listen more, your brain naturally starts to pick up grammar patterns, pronunciation, and common phrases without stress. You don't have to force yourself to memorize every rule. Your brain learns like magic when it hears English repeatedly. This is why listening practice is so important. It is not just about understanding words. It is about training your brain to think in English. Let's try a small listening practice right now. I will tell you a short, simple story. Your only job is to listen. Don't worry about understanding every word. Just relax and let the story reach your ears. Are you ready? Here we go. Yesterday morning, I woke up very early. The sun was shining and the birds were singing outside. I made a cup of tea and sat near the window. While I was drinking my tea, I saw a little cat walking slowly on the street. The cat was very small, with soft fur and bright eyes. It looked at me through the window, and I smiled. Then I got ready and went to work. On my way, I met an old friend I had not seen for a long time. We talked for a few minutes and shared some laughs. After that, I continued my journey to work, feeling happy and calm. Now think about the words you understood. Maybe you recognized morning, sun, cat, friend, or work. That is great. Even if you only understood a few words, your brain is learning. Each word you catch is like a small victory. Every time you listen to English stories like this, your understanding improves little by little. Listening regularly will help you understand more and more over time. Remember, listening is not about pressure or stress. It is about enjoying the language and letting it become familiar. Think of it like listening to music. At first, you may not know all the notes, but if you listen every day, slowly you begin to understand the rhythm, the patterns, and the flow. English works the same way. The more you hear it, the more your brain becomes comfortable with it. And that is the real secret to learning English. Patience, practice, and listening every day. Even if you didn't understand much of the story, don't worry. That is completely normal. When you listen again, you will catch more words and phrases. This is exactly how listening practice works. First, you listen. Then you listen again. Each time you hear the story, your brain notices new details. Slowly, you start understanding more and more. The key is repetition. Your brain is like a sponge. It absorbs English naturally when you give it time and practice. Now, let's talk about how to learn English faster. Many learners ask me, Jenny, how can I improve my English quickly? And I always say the same thing. You need to make English a part of your daily life. Learning English is not just about classroom lessons or study time. You need to bring English into every part of your day, your mornings, your evenings, and even your free moments. How can you do that? Here are some easy ways. Listen to English songs. Choose simple songs with clear words so you can understand them more easily. Watch English shows, videos, or YouTube clips with subtitles. When you hear short phrases, try repeating them. Talk to yourself in English while cooking, walking, or doing small tasks. These small daily practices may seem minor, but they make a big difference over time. The more you surround yourself with English, the faster your brain becomes familiar with it. Let's try another short story to practice listening. This story is simple, but a little different from the last one. Listen carefully and don't worry about understanding every single word. Here we go. Last Sunday, I went to the park. The weather was nice and sunny. Many people were walking, some were running, and children were playing with the ball. I sat on a bench and read a book. After a while, I felt hungry, so I bought some bread and juice from a small shop nearby. While I was eating, a dog came close to me. The dog wanted some bread too. I laughed and gave the dog a small piece. The dog was happy and wagged its tail. Now, think about the words you recognized. Maybe you noticed park, weather, people, children, book, bread, or dog. Perhaps you understood simple sentences like, I went to the park, or children are playing. That is wonderful. Even catching a few words is progress. This is exactly how you practice listening through short stories, simple words, and repeated listening. Another very useful technique is called shadowing. Shadowing means you listen to English and repeat it at the same time. For example, if I say, I went to the park, you try to repeat it immediately after me. This method trains your brain and your mouth to work together. It improves your pronunciation, rhythm, and understanding at the same time. Shadowing may feel tricky at first, but if you do it regularly, you will notice a big improvement in your listening and speaking. Remember, learning English is a journey. Small steps, repeated listening, and daily practice make the biggest difference. Don't worry about understanding everything at once. Focus on enjoying the language, noticing familiar words, and repeating sentences. Every small effort counts. Over time, you will understand more words, catch more sentences, and feel more confident when listening or speaking. Listening, shadowing, and daily English practice are the keys to fast improvement. Make English a part of your day. Let it flow around you naturally, like music in the background. And always remember, patience and consistency are more powerful than any quick tricks. The more you listen, the easier English becomes. Shadowing is a powerful way to practice English. It makes your pronunciation better and your listening faster. Let's try a short shadowing practice together. I will say some simple sentences, and you repeat them after me. Ready? I like coffee. I like tea. I have a book. I see a cat. The sun is bright. The dog is running.
Good job.
If you repeated these sentences with me, you are already practicing shadowing. You can do this every day with short sentences. It really helps your brain, your mouth, and your ears work together. Shadowing may feel strange at first, but it trains you to speak naturally and understand faster. Now, let's think about why listening English can sometimes be difficult. One reason is speed. Native speakers often talk very fast, and it can sound like one long, connected sound. Another reason is something called connected speech. In real English, people do not always say every word clearly. For example, instead of saying going to, they may say gonna. Instead of want to, they might say wanna. At first, this can be confusing, but don't worry. With practice, your ears get used to it. In this lesson, I will sometimes use natural connected speech so you can get used to real English. For example, I might say, I'm going to go to the park later. Did you hear that? I'm going to sounds like I'm gonna. That is natural, real English. The more you hear sentences like this, the easier it will become to understand fast speech. Here is a small tip for listening. When English is spoken quickly, do not try to translate every word in your head. That will slow you down. Instead, listen for the main idea. If you understand the main idea, that is enough. Later, with more practice, you will start to understand more details naturally. Let's do one more listening practice in this lesson. This story is a little longer, but still simple. Just sit, relax, and listen. Last Friday, I had a busy day. In the morning, I went shopping. I bought some fruit, vegetables, and bread. The shop was very crowded, and I waited in line for 10 minutes. After shopping, I went to the library. I borrowed 2 books about travel because I love reading about different countries. In the afternoon, I met my cousin at a cafe. We drank coffee and talked about our plans. She wants to visit new places this year. We laughed and shared some stories from the past. After spending time at the cafe, I walked home slowly, enjoying the fresh air. That was my busy but happy day. Did you notice any words? Maybe shopping, fruit, library, coffee, cousin, or plans. Even if you only understood a few words, that is great. Each time you listen, your brain picks up more patterns and sounds. Listening is about catching the rhythm of English, not about understanding every word at first. Remember, listening, shadowing, and paying attention to connected speech are all important tools to improve your English. Practice every day, even for a few minutes, and your ears will gradually become trained. You'll start understanding faster, speaking more naturally, and enjoying English more. Small steps every day make a big difference. Keep listening, keep repeating, and slowly but surely, you will notice your English improving. Today, we are going to continue practicing English by listening to stories about daily life. Remember, you do not need to understand every single word at first. The important thing is to listen regularly, repeat sentences if you want, and focus on the main ideas. Every time you listen, your brain learns a little more. Slowly, English starts to feel natural, and you will understand more. That is the real way to improve. Let me tell you a short story. Yesterday was a normal day for me, and I want you to listen carefully. Don't worry about grammar or difficult words. Just listen to the story and imagine the actions. Here we go. Yesterday, I woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I brushed my teeth and washed my face. Then I made breakfast. I had bread with butter and a cup of tea. After breakfast, I cleaned my room and checked my phone. Later, I went outside to buy some vegetables. At the shop, I bought tomatoes, onions, and potatoes. The shopkeeper was very friendly. He asked me, "How are you today?" I smiled and said, "I'm good, thank you." After shopping, I went back home and cooked lunch. I made rice and vegetables. In the afternoon, I thought about traveling. I want to visit London and Paris one day. I imagined walking on the streets, seeing famous places, and trying local food. Thinking about travel made me happy. In the evening, I cooked dinner at home. I made rice, chicken, and a salad. After dinner, I watched a movie and then went to sleep. That was a simple, normal day, but it is full of small actions that we all do every day. The main idea of this story is not to memorize every word. The main idea is to understand the daily routine. Waking up, eating, shopping, cooking, going outside, and spending time relaxing. These are the words and actions you will use most in English. When you travel, go shopping, or talk with friends, these simple sentences will help you communicate. That is why practicing listening to daily life stories is very important. Now, let me remind you of some key points. Learning English properly means listening every day, speaking a little every day, and not being afraid of mistakes. You will not be perfect at the beginning, but every time you practice, you get better. If you practice with me here, you will see your progress faster. That makes me very happy because it shows you are serious about learning. Remember, the more you listen, the more your brain learns and the easier English becomes. Daily life listening is very practical. It helps you with simple actions like eating, cooking, shopping, walking, meeting people, and traveling. These are the situations you face every day. Focus on the feeling of the story, the pictures in your mind, and the main ideas. Don't worry about grammar too much. For example, in this story, I said, I woke up at 7 o'clock, I brushed my teeth, I bought tomatoes, and I cooked lunch. These are short, clear sentences. They are easy to remember and useful in real life. The secret is repetition. Listen to short stories like this every day. The first time, you may understand a few words. The second time, you will catch more. After a few weeks, you will start understanding sentences and small conversations. That is how English listening works. Little by little, your brain becomes familiar with the sounds, words, and rhythm of English. And soon, you'll be able to understand and speak English naturally without thinking too much. In the afternoon, I listened to music and read a book. In the evening, I watched television with my family. Before going to sleep, I drank a glass of milk. It was a simple, normal day, but it was a good day. That is the story. Did you understand some of it? Maybe you recognized words like breakfast, vegetables, music, or television. That is wonderful. The goal is not to understand everything perfectly right now. The goal is to get comfortable listening to normal English sentences. The more you listen, the easier it becomes, and slowly your brain starts recognizing words and patterns naturally. Now, let's do a small shadowing practice using sentences from the story. Remember, shadowing means you listen and repeat right after me. Are you ready? Let's try together. I woke up at 7 o'clock. I brushed my teeth. I had bread with butter. I went outside to buy vegetables. I made rice and vegetables. I watched television with my family.
Good job.
When you repeat these sentences, you are practicing listening and speaking at the same time. Both skills improve together, and it helps your brain connect sounds, words, and meaning. Shadowing is one of the best ways to become confident in English. Now, let me share another small story about daily life. This one is a little different. Just listen and imagine the actions. Last week, I took a bus to the city center. The bus was crowded, and I had to stand. I looked out of the window and saw many shops and people walking in the streets. I went to a bookstore because I love reading. I spent an hour looking at books and bought a novel and a dictionary. After that, I went to a cafe. I ordered a sandwich and a cup of coffee. The waiter was polite and said, "Enjoy your meal." I sat at the table, ate slowly, and watched people walking outside. After lunch, I met my friend. We walked in the park and talked about our plans. It was a nice, relaxing day. Did you notice the daily life activities in the story? Words like bus, city center, bookstore, cafe, sandwich, park, friend are all useful for your everyday English. These are the words you will use most when talking about daily routines, traveling, or meeting people. Let's do a small exercise to practice pronunciation. I will say some words from the story, and you try to repeat them after me. Ready?
Bus, bookstore, cafe,
Sandwich,
park,
friend.
good.
Repeating words and sentences regularly will help your mouth and brain work together. It makes speaking easier and listening faster. Even if you only understand a few words at first, your brain is learning more than you realize. Remember, the key to learning English is daily listening, small speaking practice, and repeating short stories or sentences often. Don't worry about understanding everything perfectly. Start with simple, everyday situations, and gradually your understanding will grow. The stories, words, and sentences you practice today will be useful tomorrow when you travel, talk to friends, or read simple texts. Little by little, step by step, your English improves. Shadowing, listening, and practicing words from daily life will make you more confident. Keep listening, repeating, and enjoying English every day, and you will see progress faster than you expect. The more you repeat words like bus, bookstore, cafe, sandwich, coffee, friend, park, the more natural they become. Repetition helps your brain and mouth remember these words so you can use them easily in daily conversations. But listening is not just about individual words. It is also about situations. Real-life English often happens in short exchanges or dialogues, not just in sentences. Let's imagine a small daily life conversation. I will act as both people, so you can hear it clearly. Listen carefully. Good morning. How are you today? I'm fine, thank you. How about you? I'm good. What are you doing today? I'm going to the market to buy some fruit. Oh, that's nice. What kind of fruit will you buy? Maybe apples and bananas. Sounds delicious. Enjoy your shopping. Thank you. See you later. That was a simple daily life conversation. These short, polite exchanges are very common when people talk in English. You do not need to worry about big, difficult words. Start with small, practical dialogues like this. Now, let's practice shadowing with this dialogue. I will say one line, and you repeat after me. Good morning. How are you today? I'm fine, thank you. How about you? I'm good. What are you doing today? I'm going to the market to buy some fruit. Oh, that's nice. What kind of fruit will you buy? Maybe apples and bananas. Sounds delicious. Enjoy your shopping. Thank you. See you later. Very good. If you repeated these lines with me, you're already practicing real-life conversation. Shadowing helps your listening, speaking, and pronunciation at the same time. Now, let's move to another daily life topic, going to a restaurant. Here's a short story. On Saturday evening, I went to a restaurant with my cousin. The restaurant was small but very clean. We sat near the window. The waiter gave us the menu. I ordered chicken with rice and my cousin ordered fish with salad. We also asked for 2 glasses of water. The food came quickly, and it was very tasty. After eating, we paid the bill and said thank you to the waiter. It was a nice experience. Daily life situations like restaurants are very useful to practice because many conversations happen in these places. Restaurants, markets, parks, buses, and shops are all common places where you will hear and use English. Learning English in these everyday situations helps you speak naturally and understand faster. Let's try a small exercise. Think about the restaurant story. Repeat some of the words out loud. Restaurant, menu, waiter,
chicken,
rice, salad,
cousin,
water. Excellent. Repeating words from stories helps your brain remember them and trains your mouth to say them correctly. Over time, these words and phrases will feel natural, and you'll be able to use them without thinking. Remember, the key to improving your English is daily listening, shadowing, and practicing short stories or dialogues. Start with simple sentences and everyday situations. Listen carefully, repeat after me, and imagine the scene in your mind. With time, your understanding will grow, and speaking English will become easier and more natural. Maybe one day you will visit a restaurant in another country and need these words. Let's repeat some useful words from the restaurant story together. Restaurant, menu, chicken, fish, salad, bill, waiter.
great,
Now, let's try saying full sentences. Repeat after me. I went to a restaurant. I ordered chicken with rice. The food was tasty. We paid the bill. Excellent. You're already practicing daily life English, which is very useful for speaking in real situations. Now, let's think about another daily life situation. Shopping. Listen to this short story. Yesterday afternoon, I went shopping for clothes. I needed a new shirt. I went to 3 different shops. The first shop was too expensive. The second shop did not have my size. Finally, in the third shop, I found a shirt that I liked. It was blue and comfortable. I bought it and felt happy. This story is simple, but it is full of useful words. Shopping is something we all do, so knowing how to talk about it in English is very helpful. Let's do shadowing practice again. Repeat after me. I went shopping for clothes. I needed a new shirt. The shop was too expensive. I found a shirt that I liked. It was blue and comfortable. Very good. Shadowing short sentences helps you improve both listening and speaking at the same time. Daily life English is all around us. You can practice even at home. For example, when you are cooking, say sentences in English. I am cooking rice. I am cutting vegetables. I am making tea. When you clean your room, try saying, I am cleaning the table. I am sweeping the floor. I am washing the clothes. Talking to yourself in English may feel strange at first, but it is a very good habit. It trains your brain and your mouth at the same time, helping you speak naturally. Before we finish this part, let's do one more daily life listening story. This one is a little longer. Just listen carefully and try to catch the main ideas. Last Monday, I woke up early because I had to go to the doctor. I had a small cold and wanted to check it. After breakfast, I walked to the clinic. The nurse at the desk asked me to wait. After 10 minutes, the doctor called me in. He checked my temperature and asked me some questions. He said that I should rest, drink water, and take medicine if needed. After visiting the doctor, I walked home and made a cup of tea. Later, I read a book and listened to some music to relax. Did you notice the daily life words in the story? Words like doctor, nurse, clinic, temperature, medicine, tea, book, music are all very useful for talking about normal life situations. You do not need to understand every word. The main goal is to catch the main ideas and get comfortable listening to normal English sentences. Remember, listening every day, practicing shadowing, and repeating words from daily life stories will make your English improve faster. Even small steps, like talking to yourself in English while cooking, cleaning, or walking, help your brain learn the language naturally. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become in understanding and speaking English. It was only a small cold, and the doctor gave me some medicine. After visiting the clinic, I went to the pharmacy to buy the medicine. Then I went home and rested. In the evening, I felt better and watched a movie on television. That was the story. Did you notice the useful words in the story? Words like doctor, clinic, nurse, medicine, pharmacy are important for talking about health and daily life. Let's practice them together. Repeat after me.
Doctor. Clinic.
Nurse. Medicine. Pharmacy.
Great.
Now, let's try a full sentence using these words. Repeat after me. I went to the doctor. The doctor gave me medicine. I went to the pharmacy.
Perfect.
In this part, we focused on listening to daily life English. We listened to stories about shopping, eating, traveling, and visiting the doctor. These are all real situations that can happen to anyone. The more you listen to these stories, the more prepared you will be when you face similar situations in real life. The key is practice. Listen, repeat, speak, and don't give up. We also practice shadowing, repeating words and sentences right after hearing them. This helps your brain, ears, and mouth work together. It makes listening easier and speaking more natural. Remember, you don't need to understand every word. Focus on the main idea and the general meaning. With regular practice, the details will come naturally. Now, let's take the next step. We will expand your vocabulary, learn how to avoid common mistakes, and practice listening with more natural stories. What does expanding vocabulary mean? It simply means learning more words so you can understand more and express yourself better. If you know only a few words, you can understand only simple sentences. But if you know more words, you can understand conversations and share your thoughts clearly. The good news is, you don't need to learn hundreds of new words every day. You only need to learn a few words every day and use them repeatedly so your memory keeps them. Consistent practice is better than trying to learn everything at once. Let me give you a short story to help you expand your vocabulary. This story will have some new words, but don't worry. You do not need to memorize everything. Just listen carefully, imagine the story, and repeat the words you recognize. Over time, your brain will learn the new words naturally. For example, imagine a small story about a day at the park. I walked to the park early in the morning. The sun was shining, and the birds were singing. I saw children playing with a ball, people jogging, and someone walking a dog. I sat on a bench and drank a cup of tea. After a while, I fed some bread to the birds. Then I went home. Words like park, sun, birds, children, ball, jog, bench, tea are all useful for daily life and conversations. The main point is, small stories, simple words, and repetition are the best ways to learn. Listen, imagine, repeat, and use these words in your daily life. You can even talk to yourself in English about what you see, hear, or do. For example, I am walking to the park. I am feeding the birds. I am sitting on the bench. These little habits train your brain and mouth at the same time. Step by step, your listening improves, your vocabulary grows, and speaking becomes easier. Remember, learning English is not about speed. It is about consistency, practice, and using what you learn every day. Last weekend, I went to a market near the river. The market was very colorful and full of life. Many people were selling different things. Some people sold clothes, some sold food, and some sold handmade jewelry. I saw a beautiful necklace made of wood. I also saw some paintings. The air smelled strongly of spices. I bought a small bag of fresh oranges and a bottle of honey. After walking for an hour, I felt tired, so I sat on a bench near the river and watched the boats go by. That was the story. Did you hear some new words? Maybe jewelry, necklace, paintings, spices. Let me explain them in simple English. Jewelry means things people wear like rings, earrings, or bracelets. A necklace is a piece of jewelry you wear around your neck. Paintings are pictures made with paint by artists. Spices are things like pepper, cinnamon, or turmeric that give food flavor. Now, let's practice saying these words. Repeat after me. Jewelry, necklace, paintings, spices. Very good. Now, let's use these words in sentences. Repeat after me. I saw some jewelry. She wore a necklace. The artist made beautiful paintings. The food had many spices. Excellent. This is how you expand your vocabulary. First, listen to a story. Then, notice new words. Learn what they mean. Finally, repeat them in sentences. Doing this regularly helps your brain remember words naturally. Now, let's talk about common mistakes in English. Many learners make similar errors, and that is normal. One common mistake is forgetting to add s for the third person singular in the present tense. For example, some learners say, he go to school instead of he goes to school. Another common mistake is with past tense verbs. For example, yesterday I go to the shop instead of yesterday I went to the shop. It is okay to make these mistakes when you are learning. The important thing is to notice them and practice the correct forms. Over time, listening and speaking will help you get them right naturally. Let's practice some correct sentences together. Repeat after me. He goes to school every day. She eats breakfast in the morning. Yesterday, I went to the shop. I bought a bag of oranges.
Perfect.
Doing this kind of practice every day helps your brain learn English without stress. First, listen. Then, repeat. Speak in short sentences. Don't worry about being perfect. Every time you practice, you improve. Remember, vocabulary, grammar, and listening work together. Learning new words from stories, making simple sentences, and noticing common mistakes will make your English stronger. Small daily practice, like repeating words, shadowing sentences, or talking about your day, makes a big difference. For example, you can describe what you see every day. I see a car. I eat breakfast. I go to the shop. I watch the birds near the river. All of these activities, listening, repeating, making sentences, train your brain and mouth together. Over time, your listening improves, your speaking becomes easier, and you feel more confident in English. Last night, I listened to some English stories and practiced repeating sentences. For example, you can say, yesterday I went to the shop. Last night, she watched a movie. Great job! Remember, listening helps you learn grammar naturally. When you hear correct sentences many times, your brain starts to copy them. Slowly, you will stop making mistakes. Now, let's do another listening practice with more natural English. This story has some new words and shows grammar in real situations. On Tuesday evening, I met my friend Anna at a small cafe. We hadn't seen each other for 2 months, so we were very happy. We sat at a corner table and ordered some tea. Anna told me about her new job. She works as a designer in a clothing shop. She said her work is interesting but sometimes stressful. I told her about my family and my new hobbies. We laughed a lot and shared old memories. After 2 hours, we said goodbye and promised to meet again soon. Did you notice some new words in the story? Words like designer, stressful, memories. Let me explain them simply. A designer is a person who creates clothes, furniture, or other things. Stressful means something that gives pressure or makes you feel worried. Memories are things you remember from the past. Let's practice these words. Repeat after me. Designer, stressful, memories. Very good. Now, let's make sentences using these words. Repeat after me. She is a clothing designer. My job is sometimes stressful. I have many happy memories. Excellent. A lot of learners try to memorize long lists of words. This can be boring and hard. A better way is to learn new words inside stories. When you hear a word in a story, it is easier to remember because you can imagine the situation. Let's try another story with new words. Last summer, I traveled to the mountains with my family. We stayed in a small wooden cabin. The air was fresh and clean, and the sky was clear. During the day, we went hiking on the hills. The view was beautiful. We saw rivers, tall trees, and colorful flowers. We also met some friendly people. They told us about the best places to hike and where to see waterfalls. One day, we walked near a river. The water was cold and clear. We took photos and enjoyed the quiet nature. At night, we sat by the fire, drank hot chocolate, and talked about our day. These moments gave us happy memories that we will never forget. Did you notice some useful words here? Words like cabin, hike, river, waterfall, fire, hot chocolate. Let's practice them together. Cabin, hike, river, waterfall, fire, hot chocolate. Now, make simple sentences with these words. Repeat after me. We stayed in a small cabin. We went for a hike in the hills. The river water was cold. We saw a beautiful waterfall. We sat by the fire.